Agents are scared and consumers or our clients are confused. And it's probably because of all the crazy headlines out there that are so uncertain and say crazy things like the DFW market is crashing. What does it actually mean that the market is shrinking and what is actually happening in the market? We have a tale of two markets. We have a market where in the last 7 days, we've had 5 different properties sell for multiple offers. Multiple buyers wanted the same property. And as we know, every property can only have one buyer. You can't move 2 people into the same house. You're gonna just sell to one buyer. So you've got people that are losing out. And because of that, you've got the market putting out offers that are over list price. They're including waivers on appraisal. They're doing shorter inspection contingency timeframes and more money in earnest money and all sorts of different ways to make the offer more competitive. And it feels like the market is going gangbusters in certain areas and for certain price ranges. And so for many of our buyers, which in this specific situation, they're kind of in different areas, like we had some in Oak Cliff and some in Richardson and several different pockets where we're seeing that. But there are specific pockets that are experiencing that phenomenon. And then other pockets where you sit on the market and maybe 90 or 120 days later, you still don't have any offers and you're wondering what's gone wrong. Or you're in one of the outlying areas where you're experiencing so much inventory that the absorption rate, the number of months or days it will take until all of the inventory is absorbed by the available buyers is between 20 and 36 months. And some of those areas they're more on the outskirts, but they're still very reputable, very nice communities with great houses. And we're seeing some of those areas there's one city in the outskirts of North Texas that has over 1,000 homes active on the market and roughly 30 to 50 sell every month. That's probably 30 more months of inventory before it all absorbs, or 20 to 30 more months of inventory, depending on the month and how you calculate it. All that to say, there are homes that are not selling. So the secondary market, if I look at this, I would say, oh my gosh, those homes are not selling. And that must mean that the market is terrible. Look at all these homes that are available. They're having to slash their prices. There are a number of headlines that could go out there. Like one thing I saw last week, they showed the appreciation in every state across the entire country. And you'd see, well, in Texas, it was 0.5% of appreciation. Homes went up 0.5 point in the last year. And in other states, it was upwards of 1 or 2%, or some states were down 0.5 or 1%. So if we look at the statewide stats, you'd say, wow, certain states are winning, certain states are losing. But honestly, across the board, everything was pretty much flat. If you average the whole United States, it would probably say, well, prices were flat for the last year. And if you looked at each state, you'd say, well, some are up and some are down, but just slightly. And they're not really that significant. And if I looked at specific metro areas, I might even come to the same conclusion. Like Dallas County got a 1.4% increase in prices from January 2025 to January 2026. So we could tell those stories. Or we could look at one of the more scary headlines, which is look at the price change from June of 2025 to December of 2025. It was an 11.4% decrease. And that was across DFW. That also tells an interesting story, because if you were somebody who owned a home and you had it listed in June or July, and you thought based on the data you were looking at that you could list at a certain price, and then you didn't sell through the fall, and then you didn't sell through the winter, and finally you're coming to December or January and you're like, what do I do? You've had to lower your price, and you continue to lower your price, and you may not have lowered it fast enough to catch up to the price decreases. When we take all of the aggregated data and we do our own parsing of the data, we can see prices went from one price to the other price. If we aggregate that information, we look at the medians. Now, what's going to happen? Honestly, that's partly seasonal. So it's not exactly a fixed thing, right? It might sound a little scary, but it is true for people that bought in June paid more than the people that bought in December. But from a seasonality perspective, it'll go back up again. April, May, June will probably be even higher prices than last June, potentially, maybe by 1 or 2% like they did last year. That means that we've got to be watchful of these different things. So all that to say, there's lots of headlines, lots of different stories, but the truth is there are some concerns out there. There are some things to be concerned about, but also there's some areas where you've got to be prepared to write a very competitive offer and get there quickly, or else you're not going to win against those other buyers.